family. It's great to be with you guys here in Sacramento. And I always love to come and visit the church here and see what God is doing in this incredible city. And I gotta tell you, the singing is off the charts this morning. The singing is amazing. You can tell a lot by a church from its singing. When people sing to God with all their heart, you know, that shows that there's a great working of the Spirit in those people's lives. And I know we got a lot going on here in Sacramento. And we've seen the church. We originally planned this church just about a year and a half ago with 14 people. 14 people came here. Now the church has 36 sold out disciples. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Jason, and this is my lovely wife, Sarah. We have an amazing privilege and opportunity to lead the church in San Francisco and oversee the church here in Sacramento, as well as Denver, as well as Las Vegas. And I did bring you good news from Denver. I was there a couple weeks ago with the Millers, who we just sent out to assume the leadership of the great Denver church. They're doing a phenomenal job. They are baptizing people. The church is fired up. So it's great to see God working over there as well. You know, now it's a time when we go through every year where we start to raise money to plant new churches. We just sent out of Moscow in the Eurasia Missions Conference, we sent out a church to Kiev, Ukraine. And it's incredible to see God working already over there in Eastern Europe. And like everybody said, this is the end of the month. We'll be going down to LA to celebrate really the 10-year anniversary of the LA church, but the 10-year anniversary of us as a movement. We started this movement of churches with just one church 10 years ago. 42 people in Los Angeles. Only a couple of them had ever been in the full-time ministry before. So most of them had very little idea of what it was going to take or how to build churches. But with those 42 people, an unlikely group of disciples, we've seen God really multiply churches all over the world. In 2009, we planted a church in Santiago, Chile. And now there's almost 200 disciples in Santiago, Chile. In 2010, my wife went on the mission team to London, England. And again, now there's almost 200 disciples in London, England. In 2011, we planted the Sao Paulo church there in Brazil. And that church is now almost 200 disciples as well. And they planted the church in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In 2012, we sent out of LA a mission team to Mexico City, Mexico. And now that church is planted Bogota and it's planted Monterrey, Mexico. And God is working powerfully in those churches. In 2012, also, we sent out a church planting to one of the most beautiful cities in the world, Paris, France. And God is working there in Paris, and Lord willing, the Almosts, who went on the original mission team, but then went for a time of training in London, will go back as a supplemental mission team to Paris and really continue to work in a great way there in June. In 2013, two people I baptized were on this mission team, the Venezuela brothers, but they went on the mission team planting to Sydney, Australia. And then now that church, at the end of this year, in August, is going to plant the final church of the Crown of Thorns, and they're planting Hong Kong Church. In 2014, we planted a church in Chennai, India. In 2015, the Sorokians led the planting to Moscow, Russia. In 2015, the Bartholomews went to Manila, and now we're over 200 disciples, soaring to 300 disciples in Manila, Philippines. In 2016, just last year, we planted a church to Lagos, Nigeria with the Smellies. And then, we're almost done with Hong Kong. Come on. You know, it's just 8 years since we started this this program, this plan. 8 years. With 42 people. I mean, you're talking about language, you're talking about culture, you're talking about visas, you're talking about finances. But in 8 years, we've seen the gospel, the true message of Jesus Christ literally encircle the globe. And God is just getting going. You know, I just got to ask you this morning, is everybody fired up about special mission? The special mission. And we're going to talk about what's so special about this mission. And my first point for you, it is a mission impossible. You know, the Bible is filled with mission impossibles. You had an ark, and you had the ark with Noah and his family. Just a dude and his family. About 5,000 years ago. He says, hey, I want you to build a boat. No problem. Well, it's about the size of a football field. With you and your wife and your kids. You know what's so amazing is that guy accomplished Mission Impossible and he flat built the ark. Even the National Geographic believes that they have found the ark of all places on Mount Ararat, exactly where the Bible says it would be at. You know, that's a Mission Impossible.
Come on, Rob.
Abraham, who was 100 years old and never had any kids, God says, I'll make your descendants as numerous as sand on the seashore. And we know that happened. They're called the Jewish people. They're all over the world. It's numerous as sand on the seashore. Moses, a guy who ran for his life out of Egypt, God tells him, I want you to go back to Egypt. Just you and Aaron, just two guys. And go to the greatest superpower in the world at the time, the Egyptian Empire, and tell the Pharaoh to let 2.5 million slaves go. It would destroy his economy, decimate them as a nation, and just ask him, and you know what? I'm going to move in Pharaoh's heart and life that he will let those people go. And we know that they let them go there in Exodus.
Come on, bro.
You know, Joshua is going to conquer the Promised Land with an army of ex-slaves. He says, this is how you do it. Go to Jericho and don't fight. Just march around that puppy 7 times. And they will get the message. And after they marched around it 7 times, those walls fell out and they conquered Jericho and they conquered the Promised Land. In the same way, God has a special mission for us. Let's take a look at what it is. Turn over to 1 Timothy.
Come on, Rob.
Come on, Jason. Come on, bro. Come on, Jason.
1 Timothy 2 and verse 3. It says, this is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all men to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth. Here's our special mission. God wants every single person on the planet to get their lives right with Him by hearing the message of truth from the gospel. And this is not just a message of, hey, Jesus was the Son of God. But what does it actually mean to follow Jesus Christ?
That's right.
This is a special mission, if I've ever heard of one. This is an impossible mission that's ever been given to mankind. To do whatever the resources would be, to send people to every corner of the globe so they can take this thing and lay it out in front of people and go, this is what it actually means to be a true Christian. And to unplug ourselves from thousands of years of churchianity and our spiritual convictions becoming like a heritage passed down from our parents, but actually getting back to the truth of what this is all about. The truth of what it's all about is that it is about a conquest. If Christianity is just all about being a nice person, trying to hang on to being a good moral person to the day you die, man, that's not what's in this book at all. What's in this book was a group of men and women who were conquerors. The Bible says they were more than conquerors. They changed the world as we know it. In fact, we're in a little room here in Sacramento talking about them 2,000 years later. You know, in Romans 10, verse 14, it says, how can they believe if they've not heard, and how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And what would be preached? The truth. The truth of what this book actually says. You know, how is everybody going to enjoy that? To hear the truth. They're not going to enjoy it. Believe me, everybody likes the truth except for when it's pointed at them. And it's like the saying in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. And many people cannot handle the truth. They want to read about it with other people. They want to point it at their friends and family and go, oh, this is where they're at, and this is what they're doing. But as soon as that comes at them, they go, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you saying that to me? I feel like you're judging me. No, we're just reading the Bible here. You know, we can start to lose intellectual honesty. And truth can stop entering in us. The Bible says that we could be people like this. Let's go to Isaiah 30.
Come on, Ron.
Isaiah 30 in verse 9. It says, Isaiah 30 verse 9 says, these are rebellious people, deceitful children, children unwilling to listen to the Lord's instruction. They say to the seers, see no more visions. And to the prophets, give us no more visions of what is right. Tell us pleasant things. Prophesy illusions. Leave this path. Get off this way. Stop confronting us with the Holy One of Israel. You know, I think that it paints a picture of a lot of our experience when you share your faith and really call people to what the Bible actually says. People would believe a lie if it just made them feel good about who they are today. And they say to the prophets, hey, just give us a wealth and prosperity gospel. Just give us a nice guy gospel. Give us the family first gospel. Give me the gospel that doesn't ask me to do anything, and I will love you for it. Right. Here it says they don't want to hear the truth. You know, Nietzsche, one of the original psychologists, I was reading an article about him. He said this, says, Nietzsche expressed the idea that people need their illusions, and that when all is considered, they live in a lie. He couldn't have been more correct. Besides the defense mechanisms employed by the frightening regularity, we have grown into a culture that, despite proclaiming a desire for the truth, we would actually prefer to be lied to. Right. Nietzsche said, often people prefer illusion to truth. The truth hurts, and as a species that avoids pain and seeks pleasure, the preference is a lie. Even when people hear the truth, their defenses kick in and protect the ego against it. This keeps and protects the illusion, which is viewed as more pleasant. So the problem is twofold. First, as a culture, we become to expect to be spared our feelings at the cost of the truth, to be lied to. Second, the defense mechanism and other aspects of perception work within us to keep the individual in an illusion which is intended to be better than reality. You know, we've all seen The Matrix, right? Where the guy wants to get put back into the Matrix and he's having dinner with the agents and he's got that steak. He goes, I know that this is not real. It's just the Matrix telling my mind that it's juicy and it tastes great. And then he eats it and he goes, hey, after 5 years I've learned that ignorance is bliss. Wow. And that's where a lot of us would like to stay. Come on, bro. Let me just stay in this religious place where I don't really know the Bible. And I don't really even know what it means to be a Christian. I couldn't sit down and tell somebody what that really means. I really have no idea, but my dad told me that we were this denomination or that denomination. That just seemed good enough to me. And it says in Romans 1:25, they exchanged the truth of God for a lie. What is the truth? I mean, don't we want truth? Yeah. Don't we want it? Don't we want to really know what Jesus came for? Right. Jesus did not come just so we could be nice people and sit in a chair and say, yeah, that's not what he came for. You don't have to die on a cross for that. Right. He came to build a people who would change the world. Come on, bro. That's what he came for. And let me tell you what, if history has shown us anything, it's shown us that the truth tellers will be hated and even killed for their efforts. Right. John F. Kennedy said, ask not what America can do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Wow. And he was killed for those ideals. Right. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up to live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal in the eyes of God. And he was killed for that ideal as well. You know, Jesus Christ was a dreamer. And he said that he wanted every city, every nation, every country to hear the gospel and be saved and to go make disciples. And he was killed for that dream as well. And we will be killed. We will be martyred. We'll be conservative.
Come on, bro.
It's not supposed to be something that just determines how you voted in the last election. It's not about just trying to live a better life than the wicked people around you in the world. It's a conquest, a divine, universal truth.
Come on, bro.
That's what it's really meant to be. And let me tell you what, it's a mission impossible.
Come on, bro.
It's a mission impossible without God.
Right.
You know, but God loves bad odds. He loves them. You have Gideon with 30,000 soldiers, a good force. God winnows it all the way down to 300. Because with 300, no one's going to say you did it by yourself. That obviously I had to get involved for you to win this battle. And I'm telling you, from 42 people, we have a terrible marketing strategy, just to let you know. All we offer is that the truth. Our slogan is give up everything. That doesn't generally encourage people. We tell people you got to be willing to go anywhere, do anything. You got to be willing to uproot your family and go on a mission team, even learn a language that if you're born of the Spirit, who knows where you're going to go? Come on, bro. You got to have people in your life who actually disciple you and show you the character flaws that you need to change. I mean, our marketing strategy is terrible. We don't offer a product in a sense. I mean, man. We have 42 people. Most of them have no idea about the ministry at all. We have now churches in every continent of the globe.
Come on.
God wanted to show that not only was it going to be mission impossible, but He loves bad odds. And my second point is it's going to be mission improbable.
Come on, bro.
And you're wondering, I wonder who the improbable people are. Well, it's you. Welcome to church this morning. Let's go over here to Mark 1. Mark 1 and verse 16. Mission improbable. It says, as Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew cast a net into a lake for their fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, I'll make you fishers of men. At once they left their nets and followed him. When he had gone a little farther, he saw James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John in a boat preparing their nets. Without delay, he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed him. Wow. Here Jesus shows the level of commitment that he expected for anybody who wanted to be his follower. Right. Jesus is alone. He's a homeless guy in Galilee. Right. Galilee is like the ghetto of Israel. This would be like somebody, down in like Crenshaw in LA. Yeah. He's homeless. He's just got the clothes on his back. You got, Roman soldiers who could come and rob you at any moment and take your stuff. There's nothing you can do about it. And he's calling fishermen, to even this day, are a roughneck group of people. Have you ever watched Deadliest Catch or something like that? Right? Oh my God. But these are not like, people who graduated generally from Stanford. And he's calling fishermen, and he's saying, hey guys, this is what it is. Come follow me. Right. And Jesus is cool. Right. I think sometimes we don't think Jesus was cool. Jesus was cool. Right. And he uses a little bit of a play on words. He's like, hey, I know you're a fisherman. Now we make you a fisher up, man. What's up? And Jesus was it, man. He was trying to relate to the people. And he says, I'm going to make you a fisher of men. And I can't tell you how many Bible studies I've done with people who say that they're Christian. And I go, hey, what's your purpose in life? Well, I just, right now, school. Right now, school. Get through finance. Right? Right now, maybe, I don't know, I just kind of want to help people or do something. I said, you know what? God says your purpose in life, if you're a real Christian, is to be a fisher of men. That's right. Come on, bro. And you know what? To make disciples, it never gets boring. I mean, I celebrate this year in June 19 years as a disciple. I was 19. So I've been a disciple as long as I was not one. And after 19 years of making disciples, I'm still excited every time I get into a Bible study. Because anytime you use this, man, you can change someone's whole life. They can go get their parents. They can go get their brother and sister. They can go to their classmates, their co-workers, and change their life. You can change the world with this thing. And here, Jesus chooses the improbable, the unlikely heroes. But you know what he does? He walks with these people for years. And let's see what he turns them into. Turn over to Acts 4.
Come on.
Acts 4 and verse 12. It says, salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to man by which you must be saved. When they saw the courage of Peter and John and realized they were unschooled, ordinary men, they were astonished and to note that these men had been with Jesus. I think sometimes we cannot understand exactly what is happening here. Jesus has just been crucified. And now Peter and John and the apostles now walk into the Sanhedrin, the very place where the people who condemned Jesus to the cross. And they say, hey, by the way, I just want to let you guys know, that guy you killed named Jesus, he's the only way to heaven, therefore you're all lost. You guys need to become disciples of Jesus. They're baffled. They're like, what the heck? I thought that we'd kill Jesus and we'd destroy this little revolution, but now I realize there's 12 more revolutionaries. And actually, these guys are super bold. They're unschooled, ordinary men. They're fishermen. They're not trained in Judaism, but you know what? They have been with Jesus Christ. See, this is the effect of Christianity. Christianity is an ancient discipline that's rarely practiced anymore. That's what it is. It's not. It doesn't come with your last name. It's a life. It would be like seeing a samurai walk through here and be like, man, I ain't seen a samurai in hundreds and hundreds of years. In fact, I've never seen one. They've been in Japan. They might have saw one hundreds of years ago. It's the same thing with Christianity. How many people actually practice it? Live like Jesus. Make disciples. Do what these people actually did. Very few people do that. And it's become, well, my dad, we're Irish Catholic. Well, why are you Catholic? We're Irish. We've been like this for hundreds of years. And we've just had it passed down, and we've got to unplug ourselves and look at what did Jesus actually do and what did it mean to actually follow him. And he chose the improbable. In 1 Corinthians 1, verse 26, it says, brothers and sisters, don't think about what you were before you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world to despise things. And the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. You're supposed to feel very encouraged that you were called to be a disciple. But don't feel that encouraged, because now you know why. You're called because God wanted to show that he can use anybody to therefore there be no excuses for anybody who would sit down and look at what it means to be a true disciple. I remember when I studied the Bible and I heard what it meant to be a disciple of Jesus. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But then I looked at the guys who were doing it around me. And I said, and I may be a little conceited here with this, but I said, if they can do it, I'm pretty sure I can do this too. And it gave me hope. And I can live like a true disciple. And that's why God chose you. In fact, it's why he chose me. So somebody can go, you know what, if Ryan can do it, if Andre can do it, if Junior can do it, Meredith can do it, if Anthony can do it, Aaron can do it, anybody can do it. I think that sometimes we can think that we were chosen because we have like special skills. Skills that kids, right? I'm sorry. God wanted to make it very obvious that it was him and not you. Evangelizing the world, what we're attempting to do, I'm doing my master's right now, and a great book I just read is Church History in Plain Language. And if you look at church history in thousands of years, nobody has done what we're planning to do. And world evangelism is not something that we're talking about. It's something that we're doing. The idea of taking a global message to every corner of the globe, calling them back to true Christianity, has not been done in thousands of years. Why? Because most people think it's impossible. You know, it's funny, I met a very famous religious person this morning named Francis Chan. And I talked with him, shared my faith a little bit with him in Starbucks on the way here. And he's a great preacher. And him and a couple other people are getting close to what true discipleship is all about. And he's built a church to thousands. He built a church in LA and then resigned from the church because he said there was no true Christians there. As he started to study the Bible for himself and see, a Christian's a disciple. And none of these people actually became disciples. He resigned from the church. And then he started another church in San Francisco. It's now grown to be, I think it's like 1,000 members or something like that. And it's amazing to hear this guy start to speak and really talk about discipleship and go, wow, he's so close to what it really means to convert under the New Testament. He's so close, but even he has no plan, no even thought of planting churches all over the world. And these are some of the closest people to calling people back to true Christianity, true discipleship. But there's no crown of thorns. There's no plan to get to Dubai. There's no plan to get to Chennai. There's no plan to get to any of these places in the world. What we are doing is unprecedented. We're not trying to make church history. We are trying to change the order of events for mankind for all time. That's what we're trying to do. My third point, it's a suicide mission. A great quote from not so great of a movie called Fight Club. But he says, it's only after you've lost everything that you're free to do anything. Jesus says it a little differently, but the same concept. In Luke 9:24 it says, for whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses life will save it. See, we want all the life of Christianity, but none of the death. We believed that for some people a couple thousand years ago in the first century. But now we want a white picket fence, and we want a nice house, and we want nice kids, and nice dogs, and nice vacations to Disneyland, and we want all this American niceness, but no death. No one wants to die. Nobody wants to die to themselves. No one wants to be a part of a conquest that's actually going to take sacrifice, and it's going to have to lay your life on the altar of it. But that's what these people actually did. And Jesus made it very clear. You can't get the American nice Christianity if you're unwilling to actually die. If you're unwilling to totally lay your life down. You know, why did Jesus say this? Why does he make it this way? Why can't it be just this Western version of it? Well, let's look at John 12, verse 20. Come on, bro.
What's that, bro?
Come on, bro. John 12, and verse 20. It says, now there were some Greeks among those who went up to worship at the feast. They came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, with the request, sir, they said, we would like to see Jesus. Philip went to tell Andrew. Andrew and Philip in turn told Jesus. Jesus replied, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. I love Jesus. He does this so many times in the gospel where he doesn't even answer the question. Right? But here there's some Greeks who want to see Jesus. Right? And maybe that's some of us this morning. You came here and you just want to kind of see Jesus. You want to have a Jesus experience that somehow is going to better your life. And it's going to help you on out. The last thing you want to hear about a lesson of death. Right? I came here to see Jesus for the day. Then I want to go home. And then I come back next week and maybe Jesus again. And here they come to Philip. Philip goes to Andrew and they're like, this dude wants to see Jesus. All right, let's go tell Jesus. They go tell Jesus, and Jesus goes, thou hast come for the Son of Man to be glorified. What's up? So cool. He's like the coolest guy ever, right? It goes on in verse 24. I tell you the truth. Unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. The man who loves his life will lose it. While the man who hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me. And where I am, my servant will also be. My Father will honor the one who serves me. Now my heart is troubled. What shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? No. It was for this very reason I came to this hour. Father, glorify your name. Then a voice came from heaven. I have glorified it, and I'll glorify it again. The crowd that was there heard it, and it said in thunder. Others said an angel spoke to him. Jesus said, this voice was for your benefit, not mine. What an amazing moment in Jesus' ministry. This is one of the only few moments where there's actually a voice from heaven. And here these people come and they just want to get a taste tester of Jesus. And that's why he hits them with hardcore truth. He goes, guys, I tell you the truth. You just want to get a little taste tester. Unless you fall to the ground and die, you won't produce any seeds. See, only a group of people who are willing really to die to themselves and willing to actually take up the mantle of what God would call us to do. To take up the mantle of going and making disciples of all nations. Only those who would be offensive. And only those who would lay their lives on the altar of God's great special mission. Only those are the people that can produce many seeds. You know, we look at churchianity today. 90% of churches are dying. That's a reality. Look it up, Google it. The 10% that are growing grow at a snail's pace about 1% a year. And that's usually the members' kids. When they get to be about 12 or 13, they have them say a prayer. The kids don't really even know all that they're signing up for. They just do it because mom and dad seems to be really excited about it. And they say a prayer and they're added to the roll.
Wow.
Why? Why is it like that? Because nobody died. Nobody actually signed up to die. But Jesus says, unless we're willing to die, no one can live. Isn't that what he did? If he didn't die, we couldn't live. And God's not sentimental with us. He's not an American. When you pray and you pray to God and you think you see somebody who looks like you, he doesn't look like you. He doesn't have a social security number. He doesn't have a passport. He created time, space, and matter. And he actually expects us to live like this. And Jesus goes, what shall I say? I came to this hour, let me run from this. I hate this message. I hate this. I'll never come back to this church again. He says, no, for this hour I came. Father, glorify your name. We are here for a conquest. It hasn't happened in 1,000 years because nobody wants to do this. It's hard. It's hard to do this. It's easy to be religious. It's hard to be a real follower of Christ. But Jesus says if people don't die, nobody lives. Isn't this truth? Like, my wife's pregnant right now. It's a good thing. But man, with every baby comes death. It's like, man, the toll that having a baby has on you and those around you. I have sympathy symptoms. And the toll that it has on all, it produces death. But it's the circle of life. Right? Without death, there can be no life. And in the same way, if we're unwilling to be seeds that would fall to the ground and die, and we would sacrifice our dreams for God's dream, there would be a people who would be willing to build this big ark. There'd be a people willing to build this big temple so that all the creatures of the world can come and find salvation in it. Then there will be no life if we're not willing to die to see it happen. See, it is a suicide mission. You're on a mission to kill the parts of you that are not like Jesus. until you've lost everything, you're not free to do it. See, world missions, special missions, they're just a vessel that God uses to see who's willing to die. That's it. It's just a vessel. It's a platform that God uses as the acid test to see who's really going to sign up. For Noah, it was a big ship, just to see who was willing to do it. Would he actually get the job done? And he did it. Let's turn over here to Luke 13.
Come on, bro.
Let's go, bro. Come on.
Come on, Jason.
Come on, bro.
Let's look at the heart of Jesus with his suicide mission. It says, Luke 13, verse 31. It says, at that time, some Pharisees came to Jesus and said, leave this place and go somewhere else. Herod wants to kill you. He replied, you go tell that fox. I'll drive out demons and heal people today and tomorrow, and on the third day, I will reach my goal. In any case, I must keep going today, tomorrow, and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside of Jerusalem. Jesus came here a one-man mission team to earth. One guy got the job done. And he says, here's my goal. I don't know what your goal is in life. Maybe it's to make 6 figures. Maybe it's to one day get married. Maybe it's one day to be a CEO. Maybe it's one day to get your master's. All that stuff's cool and cute and nice. Here's Jesus' goal, to die. You go tell that dude, you're threatening me with death. That's what I came here for.
That's right.
I came here to die. The question is, which one of us is willing to echo the same response? I came here to die. What's 2017 supposed to look like for the Sacramento church? Death.
Come on.
If this church falls to the ground and dies, we won't be able to fit this room, maximum occupancy, 40 people. Like, we should not be in this room right now. We're breaking fire. We have liability insurance, but we're breaking fire. We should come here in 2018 and be a church that is so much bigger because everybody made a decision to die.
Come on, bro.
It's in your little decisions every day. Are you going to share your faith in the cash register? Are you going to share your faith with the person who got you your latte? Are you going to share your faith on campus so you can go there and have an extra long quiet time because you're discouraged? Are you going to really give it everything you got? Are you going to blow out your special missions? Or are you going to find a reason why you can't do it?
Come on, bro.
It's just a vessel to see who's going to die. Special missions does not make you struggle. It exposes where you're weak spiritually. Because all of us who are disciples here, we signed up for this.
Yeah.
I'm quite positive everybody did all the studies that this is what it means and knew you got to sign up, and then everything was laid on the table. And you said Jesus was Lord. That means this is what you signed up for, to nail and kill our special mission. And I'm telling you, in a couple of weeks, we've got to blow out special missions here in Sacramento. A quote. It says, the only mystery in this life is why kamikaze pilots wore helmets. It's true. It's true. Why did they do it? They're going to crash into an aircraft carrier. I think in the same way, the mystery in life is, why do Christians try and hold on to their future? Like, we know where it's supposed to end. It's supposed to end in death on a cross. Isn't anything beyond that ice cream and candy?
Come on.
What are we worried about? What are we so scared of? What are we so holding on to? You think that the commercials that you've been programmed with are real? You think that this is a real world we're living in? This thing is temporary. I'm going to be 38 years old next month, and man, does it seem once you get into your 30s, someone pushed the fast forward button. It's not even fair. It's like, man, when a year seemed like a forever when you were 15 years old, but now a year seems like 3 months. And before I know it, I'll be 48 years old. And one day, all that's going to matter is that we had the heart of Jesus that he said, you go tell that fox. I came here to die. Which is my fourth and final point, mission accomplished. Let's turn to Acts 20.
Good stuff.
Acts 20. Acts 20 and verse 22. It says, and now compelled by the spirits, I am going to Jerusalem, not knowing what will happen to me there. I only know that in every city the Holy Spirit warns me that prison and hardship are facing me. However, I consider my life worth nothing to me if I am only finish the race and complete the task the Lord has given me, the task of testifying to the gospel of God's grace. Here Paul writes this in the mid-50s from Ephesus. And he says, hey guys, I'm going to Jerusalem. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's not going to be good. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All I want to do is finish the race. I want to just complete the task that God has given me. The task of testifying to His grace. Well, let's turn over here to Philippians 3. Let's see if he does it. Let's see if he actually completes it.
Come on, Brown.
Go to Philippians 3.
Let's go, bro. Awesome.
In verse 10.
Come on, bro.
It says, I want to know Christ and the power of His resurrection and the fellowship of sharing in His sufferings, becoming like Him in His death, so somehow attaining to the resurrection of the dead. Not that I've already been attained all this, but I've already been made perfect. But I press on to take hold of which Christ Jesus took hold of me. Brothers, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what's behind, I strain towards what's ahead to press on towards the goal, to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. So here, written in the late 50s, from Rome now, he's a prisoner in Rome, and he says, guys, I haven't finished it yet. So we're getting a little bit of a time marker. In the mid-50s, from Ephesus, a free man, he says, I'm going, I haven't achieved it yet, but I got to keep going. Yeah. Here in Rome, he writes to the church in Philippi, he says, guys, I still haven't gotten it, but I'm pressing on, and he's writing it from prison. Wow. We know in Philippians 1, verse 22, he talks about, let's read it real quick. He says, if I am to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. Yet what shall I choose? I do not know. I am torn between the two. I desire to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. But it is necessary for me to remain in the body. Convinced of this, I know that I will remain and continue with all of you for your progress in joining the family. He's imprisoned by Nero, and he knows he's not going to die. Why does he know he's not going to die? Because he knows his task isn't finished.
Wow.
He says, I haven't finished the task that God gave me. Therefore, He must provide a way for me to get out of here. Yeah. And He does get out of there. He goes on to continue his missionary journeys, but then we see him at the end of his life in 2 Timothy, and let's go and look there.
Come on,
bro.
Now he's been in prison a second time in 2 Timothy 4 and verse 6. It says, for I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time has come for my departure. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day. And not only me, but also all who have longed for His appearance. So here, by the time he pens 2 Timothy, his last writings, which is written in 67 AD, 1 year before he is beheaded in Rome, 68, he says, I did it. Wow. Now, what writings happened between these two books? Let's go over here to Colossians 1.
Come on, bro.
In Colossians 1, in verse 23, this written in the early 60s, between the two books, Paul writes this to the church in Colossae. In verse 23, it says, if you continue in your faith, established and firm, not moved from the hope held out in the gospel. This is the gospel that you heard, that has been proclaimed to every creature under heaven, of which I, Paul, have become its servant.
Right.
Here between these two writings, he says, guys, we did it. We actually preached the gospel to every person on the planet, and I have completed the race. And then he knows that he's done there. In 67, he writes his final letter to Timothy. You know, Paul was able to say, I have finished. You know, I think of like 20, 30 years from now, we'll be at the GLC 2050 for the old people, even Tyler the old. And maybe Jacob and I will be like retire in Victor's church or something like that. Victor would have 7, 8 kids by then. We'll be there with thousands and thousands of our brothers and sisters from around the world. And Lou Jack with a cane will for the last time do the glory song. And we'll have that final verse where he say, the world was evangelized in our day. And we'll say it together, and we'll know that collectively that we can echo the words of Paul here that said that every creature heard the gospel. Jesus did the mission impossible. He did it with the improbable few who are willing to actually live like him. It was a suicide mission. But let us, as we go through our special missions, as we go through the rest of 2017, never forget the words of your dying king on a cross who said his final words, "It is finished." Let us be able to echo those one day. Thank you very much.